Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and it's time for an Adorama Picks rapid fire critique, where I take 10 of your images that you send in, hopefully via a Flickr link, because that is much easier, and then usually I just do a critique by myself or have the photographer on the line. But Adam said, hey, why don't I get involved? So I give another angle, and I think it's a good idea to have both of us sitting here for this critique, throwing things back at each other and pointing different things out. So Adam, thank you for coming along.
Glad to be here, Jared.
I'm glad to have you, Adam.
Right on, man.
You need a haircut, bro.
I'm getting them all cut, actually.
Are you shaving it?
We'll see.
What about the chest hair coming out of the V-neck?
Well, that's sexy. Sexy like dog.
I do have a V-neck for you, by the way. Anyway, let's dive into this. Who's the photographer? Wait, what's this say? It says gaze at expphotography.com, right?
Yeah.
All right, so the first image, I'll just start off. What throws me off about this image, I'll just start off with that, is the fact that they over process the background.
Yeah.
The subject matter is good.
Yep.
You don't have control over cutting off the subject in this case sometimes when they're on going up the ramp, but I'm also happy that it's not a fisheye shot.
Yep.
And I just find that the background is slightly distracting in this based on the way that it was processed, and that everything is in focus from front to back. How about you, Ad?
Yeah, I agree. I would have liked to have seen like the full bike, or at least where the bike is making contact with the wall, or if it's in the air.
Oh. You see that? F9?
Yeah. And I would have also, what was he shooting with? What lens? He got a 24... Probably 24 to 70. I would have liked to seen him shooting at 2.8 and have the background blown out a bit, because I think the context of the background in the skate park would have easily come through even if it was blurred out a bit.
Correct.
So and agreeing with you too. I think it's just too over processed, too saturated.
Yeah, I got to say though, looking at the subject himself, the subject looks great. It's
awesome.
It's the background that's overdone, and what you just said. Don't be afraid to shoot horizontal with the 24 millimeters. What did it say? Sure. A 5D? This was a 5D Mark II.
Yeah.
Yeah, horizontal coming up. This would have gotten the whole biker in there, and you would have gotten to see a little more of the actual ramp, which puts into perspective the height of which the subject would be. So we're going to move on to the next one, so we don't you know what? When I was looking through this, Adam, these images. Yep. The camouflage works so well here that I had to figure out what the photo was about. But then when I got this and I saw that the light was right on the photographer's face as he's looking through the scope, right on the sniper's face as he was looking through the scope, I thought it was killer, and the creative crop works extremely well.
Yeah, I love photographs that make you do a double take, that make you think. And the way that the highlights of the light are on the end of the barrel, the end of the scope, that then lead you into his hand and his face and that really pensive expression. It's a super, super cool shot. I think the cropping definitely adds tension and excitement to it.
Yeah. And this time we were shot at 2.8.
Yeah, and that's how you get like that really kind of super cool background. I like the processing. I think it works great in black and white. The monochrome, just it's awesome.
Yeah, so maybe I won't go through looking at all the settings too much, but when we talk about hyperfocal distance, selecting where on the plane that you're shooting to get into focus. In this case, it doesn't play so much into the hyperfocal distance because the way that you're shooting straight on, but the fact that the gun is closer to the camera and the background is further from the camera, you're seeing how that's working, that the guy right in the middle is sharp, and then stuff that's coming towards the camera is out, and stuff in the background is also out. So selecting the proper focus in this case, really, this is a solid image. This is a solid image. I love it.
Sure. I mean, if his face wasn't in focus, it wouldn't work.
If the face wasn't in focus or in light. Yeah, definitely I did a double take, and we'll move on to the next one.
Yep.
Go ahead. You start this one, and then I'll chime in.
I love these kinds of shots. I think, again, like the first shot, this really could have been cool as a horizontal, so you could have seen more of that bank, more of that turn. I think it does work. I think it's the bikes are not cropped out, and I think also like the first shot, although it's well shot and the background's blown out, it is a bit over processed for my taste.
Yeah, it's pushed a little far, but the subjects look great. You know, they're nice and sharp.
Yep.
I would venture to say that this is cropped this tight. I really do. I think it's cropped this way. I just feel that that's how it was taken. So maybe it was taken horizontally initially, but it's a great moment that was captured nonetheless. And you see how there's a stacking of the riders. You've got the one in the front with the one in the back. When you get dimension in your images, it really helps take the image to the next level. And then, you know, not that you have control of bike order and where people are on the course, but if there was another guy coming up in the background, then that's adding even more dimension because you have 3 bikers. And I used to do this at hockey games. I would take a lot of single shots of just a player. And that's all well and good for a baseball card or a hockey card, but when you want action, you want action. You want 14 players in a picture. You want to see the guys getting punched in the face and the puck going in the net and everybody raising their hands and the crowd in the background. So don't be afraid to shoot some of the sports wider. And
the thing about this is that, you know, you really see, you know, you get the sense of urgency. You got that guy on the green bike that's like coming up right on this guy's, you know, butt. And
good thing it doesn't say I shoot raw.
But yeah, it's cool. You know, I even like the way that the tires were a little blown out, exposure wise. I mean, speed wise. So very cool.
Next one. All right, creative crop again.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, if that's how you want to portray your image, no problem whatsoever. Doing your own type of crop. To me, it's the angle of the head that's throwing me off slightly. I saw Adam tilt his head while I was talking. I saw him tilting to look at it. That's what's throwing me off slightly. The exposure, I don't mind that I love how her face is blown out a little bit, and the eyes are there, almost in shadow, but not. I just feel that maybe this one shouldn't be cropped. I would like to see more of her head, especially if it's on the tilt. But it is what it is. So what do you think, Adam?
I think that she has just amazing eyes. I mean, her eyes are just so beautiful and just big, you know, full lips. I mean, she's got a beautiful look, and I would like to see more. I think creatively you can crop a whole bunch of different ways, and I agree with you on that. In fact, sometimes you can even add white space to a crop. So you can take your subject, if the background is like pure white,
pop it out,
cut it out, and then you can actually add white space to it and even give it more of a dimension. So in this case, I would like you to see, you know, much more.
Yeah, other than that, exposure and sharpness look to be tack, but moving on.
Oh.
So we've got a little baby here. Very nice. I mean, we're looking at what, let's see, I'd say about a 5-6 month old sitting up on their own. I guess.
maybe even younger.
I don't know much. I don't have a baby that I would know, but I'm basing it off of Bill's baby being 10 weeks old and being barely being able to move. So I'd say maybe 5-6 months. I would say that, but some mother will correct me, or father. It's soft. It's very soft. And I was sitting here going, does it need more contrast? As you know, that's my style, to make things go boom. But in this case, I think if it went too harsh, you know, with the contrast, it would have just made it too rough. And the baby is meant to be soft, like he's floating on a cloud. And the focus, I mean, just look at the kid. He's not looking at the camera, which is great. He's probably watching something off to the side. It's nice soft lighting with a soft tone, soft grays, which I don't normally like in my work, but I really like it here.
Yeah, I love the silvery tones here. I love that the eyes are just like so sharp and so shiny and so open. You know, baby photography is not that easy because babies, you know, they like to fidget, and you know, I think he did a really great job, and I really do like the exposure. I can see what you mean. It's a little kind of soft, but it works. It works
soft in terms of tones.
Yes.
It also throws in there some Rembrandt lighting. That's when you get this triangle by the cheek, because the nose creates that. That is one of the very first things they teach you in school, and it's a very easy lighting situation to recreate. But I like the softness of the image, both tones and the way that it was processed.
Yep.
And then we go straight to a harsher looking Addams Family look. She does remind me of, what was the lady's name from Addams Family?
Morticia?
Not your family, Adam.
Well, my last name isn't Adam.
Boom. Anyway.
Hilarious.
Multiple lights. What we got? At least 2 on the eye, 2 catch lights in the eye. I'll let you talk about lighting more because you do more of it.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like there's a couple catch lights in the eyes. and I think that the eye contact is fantastic.
Yeah, she's looking right through the camera,
which is just great. I mean, she's got a fierce look. I like the head angle is nice. I mean, it's an incredibly flattering image.
Her eyes are huge.
Huge, and it's just beautiful. It's shot a little bit up above, so nice and slimming look, and the lighting on her nose as well. It's really well done.
Yeah, chin came down, which causes the eyes to come up, and when you get the whites under the eyes, you'll see this in a lot of marketing campaigns. You'll see where the girl's eye. If you watch Sarah's video, I constantly tell her chin down, and when I'm at a higher angle, the eyes come up. It doesn't always work, but
right.
the slight tilt of the head, which is down, the slight bend here, really nice, and sharp and nice color.
Sure. And look, the processing is again very strong on this one, but you know what? It works on this one.
Sure.
So I'm saying like very successful.
All right, next image. All right.
All right.
I'm not a fan of popping color tones or putting them in, taking out the black and white and putting it in. I don't know if it works so much for me here. Of all the images we've seen, I don't think it's the strongest image. I just think it may be trying a little hard to put stuff into the image.
I too have mixed feelings about it. I love kind of random street photography, and I would have liked to seen this woman here, the form to the right of the frame. It's so heavily vignetted or darkened in a way, and I think that she really lends context to this. And I think that if it were monochromatic, it would be more intriguing because you would have the form moving through the frame in addition to this Ferris wheel. And if
the color was that bright, maybe a color image would have looked interesting.
Yep.
But so yeah, I mean, some of those things would possibly see it in color, or maybe even focus more on the reflection.
Yeah.
Than the watch. Could be wet, don't slip type thing.
But the thing is, like, I do love these kind of like impromptu shots when you do have somebody just passing through the frame.
Sure.
So I would have liked to seen it done that way.
All right.
But I still think it's cool.
Yeah. But this, you want to talk about street photography?
Yeah.
This is boom, boom, pow, and boom, and times boom times 3. I mean, this is the thickness of a black and white, great angle, lower angle, but symmetric. When we talk about rules, the rules to follow or rules to break, whatever, this is right down the middle. I don't mind that there's people to the right and there aren't people to the left. It's about the scene. The wet road, the brick, it's solid contrast. There's lots of blacks. There's lots of really thick tones, and that's what I love about this image. And it's I bet you if we were to look at the aperture, we're probably looking at 16 in this one.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably at least 11.
And let's take a quick look. It's at 10.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I mean, that's front to back, 24 millimeters. A lot is going to be in focus at that point.
Yeah, and, it's cool. Thick blacks. It's definitely got that kind of like Leica thickness to it.
Sure. Yeah, it has a very filmy look, and we'll move on. But this was solid. I love this type of tone in these photos.
Sure.
Love it. Here we go again. Less of a crop again. It's a creative crop. Does she look pained to you a little bit? Does she look a little stressed in this image?
She looks
the cheeks,
like maybe
right?
annoyed or something.
Right.
It's the upturned face and or mouth, and there's something a little bit unbalanced about it.
Lighting wise, it's still very nice on the face. You can see the catch light coming from up top. I think if her head was tilted the other way, it may have changed her expression on her face. You have to be very careful when you're doing those type of portraits, and I'm guilty of it. I'm sure Adam's had the same thing happen where you get that weird look. And what was that?
Never.
Yeah, you get that weird look, and you've got to find out, well, don't do that weird look again, and you don't want to tell them they're doing a weird look because you don't want them to be self-conscious about it.
That's very true, and I think you have to be really delicate when you're working with somebody and try to, get the best out of them. The other thing I was going to say, too, is that if you're going to crop something horizontally like this, to have your subject, whatever it may be, leaning or moving out of the frame can sometimes be awkward because it kind of like it throws you away from the frame, and then you've got this negative space to the right. Where
Sure.
I would almost like to see, like you said, it skewed the other way with her leaning into the frame, and then drawing you more into the frame.
But in terms of lighting, I don't. The lighting's right on and fine.
Very
like
nice.
that.
Yep.
Again, I'd like to see the full shot.
Sure.
And this is the last shot, so this is number 10. This gives me a feel that it's like shot in the early 90s based on the glow. I don't like the glow around the edges. I don't like the added border. I guess it's some kind of action in Photoshop or somewhere that added this glowy border, and I think that detracts from the beauty of the subject.
Yeah, I mean, she's got beautiful, amazing eyes, beautiful skin. The other thing that I find about this is, I think it's totally cool to shoot with props, and oftentimes that kind of diffuses people's attention so that they're not completely self-conscious. And I feel like, she seems like a very petite girl, and then you've got this huge hat.
Yeah.
And it just seems like, like she almost wants to just get rid of it. Like if she dropped that hat and then found like a resting place for her arms, like it would be even more solid.
Or if you had her throw the hat up in the air and you captured her trying to get it on her head, she'd be like...
Or even if she like had held it on her head and just threw the photographer a look, maybe grabbed it with the other hand, like that would be really super cute. This one, she's just like, okay, I'm holding the hat now.
Now what do I do?
Exactly.
Right, and she's got a beautiful face. I'm sure there's tighter shots. Get rid of that hat in this case because it doesn't really fall into context. Now maybe it would have if we saw all the images from the shoot. So don't forget, we don't get to see that. We get to see the 10 that are posted.
But great lighting, nice catch lights in the eyes, nice evenly balanced skin. The skin tones are really, really super nice.
Yep.
5D
Mark
soft,
II.
but it's a shot of a woman, so soft is nice. So
yeah, the 5D Mark II does very well in the studio with these colors. So wrapping it up, we saw a nice cross section of portraits, sports, and just trying different things. And it's great to be a well-rounded photographer, to be able to go into the studio and then go shoot sports, because they can go together, where you take the sport, the athlete, and you put them in the studio, or you do it on location, and now you've brought two things together that you love doing. Studio, sports, boom.
Right.
You got it. Any closing remarks from you, Adam?
I completely agree. It's great to see somebody like pushing themselves and being well-versed and well-rounded. And, it's cool.
All right, I liked having you along for this. I like bouncing, so it's not just me sitting here talking. We get two different perspectives. Maybe we'll at some point throw in multiple perspectives. It would be cool to have like a Google Hangout where I can show my screen. I'm not sure if I can do that, but we'll figure out.
CNN where there's like 8 talking heads on the screen.
Blah 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 blah. So anyway, this is the Rapid Fire Critique, Adorama Rapid Fire Critique, where you send in the best 10 images that you have, either your 10 best images or a photo story. I love seeing photo stories. I'm still looking for a bunch of them in the folders, but be sure to send them into froknowsphoto@gmail.com with the subject line Adorama Picks Rapid Fire Critique, and I may pick yours, and we may sit here and critique it. But I really like this set, and I liked having Adam here to do the critique.
All right.
So anyway, if you haven't already subscribed to Adam's channel, please be sure to do so. It's Adam Lerner Photo here on YouTube.
Yep.
All right, that's it. Great job here. Really like this one. Jared Poland, froknowsphoto.com. See ya.